got T-Pain possibly, excuse me, Childish Gambino possibly getting sued, you know, getting sued because he's selling cancel cards. And I didn't even know this was a thing that he was doing, but Childish Gambino was poking fun at P. Diddy, R. Kelly, and Drake, and to put Drake with R. Kelly and Diddy is nasty work. You know what I'm saying? That is, not gonna lie, that is some funny shit. You know what I'm saying? That is some funny shit. So, as you know, R. Kelly was someone who got in trouble for certain things, dealing with people who are underage, you know. And we got, what's going on, Rando? We got evidence of that, you know what I mean? That's something that's been proven. It's something that was shown, you know what I'm saying? And the first people were like, oh, no, they didn't want to believe it. But when you look back in history, it seems like R. Kelly was already on that type of time when we talking about underage, because he was dealing with Aaliyah. You know what I'm saying? Like at a point in time where she was 15, 16, 17. He was already closer to 30 than she was to the age at the. He was already closer to 30 than she was at 18. So, and we got a certain case out now with this David guy, with the whole Celeste thing and the investigation of a body, in the trunk, or the front, as people like to call it, because it was a trunk in the front. And that kind of falls into that too, you know what I'm saying? So we should put David on those cancel cards too. But, R. Kelly was someone who, and it's funny enough, R. Kelly was somebody who sing R&B and dealing with females, and that was his, target audience, so to speak. And him dealing with underage women and stuff like that, that was his target audience, you know what I'm saying? And Drake kind of falls under that when we're talking about how he wants to appeal to younger people. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is with that. And it's a crazy comparison when you think about it, but it does make sense in a way to group him with those type of people. Unfortunately, because you made it to where it was easy for people to believe that criticism to easily be accepted. It's not like people want to accept Drake being looked at in this way, but when you make it easy for people to look at you a certain way, then people are going to go for that. They're going to believe it. You know what I mean? Especially how you respond to every fucking thing to try to defend yourself. Every little post from every little content creator, you know what I mean? It's like, why would you do that in order for people to feel more inclined to believe the opposing argument? You know what I'm saying? And then we get to Diddy. Diddy, as we know, has been all over the news, abusing women and stuff like that. He wasn't no really evidence of him dealing with underage people, but he was throwing certain events to where there's no telling what age anyone could have been or whatever, I guess, But we don't have any evidence of him dealing with underage people. However, we do have evidence of him dealing with, men and women. And so, and who's to say people weren't getting abused then either? But it's more so of that power, that a lot of people are comparing Diddy and Drake. Having power over people because you have a certain name. Your name carries weight, and you can change people's lives with that. And if people know that, if the scale is too unequivocal, then it gets to a point where we gotta believe that too. We don't want to, but you make it easy for us to believe that you were using your power to manipulate people for the better gain of yourself. So we're not really, as content creators, we don't want someone to be a bad person in a sense. You know what I'm saying? We just go off of what we see and from how you respond to what is said about you. And so for Childish Gambino to be handing out cancel cards or selling cancel cards, and for Drake to possibly say he wants to sue, or somebody in his team an extension of himself saying we might have to, you already lost a lawsuit already, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know how this one is going to go. You've already lost one. We don't want to sit here and imagine you losing another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not really trying to place certain labels on you like that. But once you make it so easy for those labels to be placed upon you, I mean, damn, bro, you just lost a lawsuit and now you trying to go for another one. I don't think that's the best thing to do right now in this situation. You know what I'm saying? Just let that shit go. Let sleeping dogs lie, even though that dog is barking right now. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Childish Gambino though, because he said he suffered a stroke, which is why he couldn't do his tour. He had to cancel his tour because of health issues. And he didn't want to believe that he had a stroke, or didn't even want to believe that. He didn't even want to believe that he was in a certain point of his life where he was unhealthy to do that. You know what I'm saying? To have a stroke while on tour. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Childish Gambino for being open about his health. You know what I mean? Because it shows other artists that they can be more open about what's really going on in the industry. You know what I mean? Like people getting overworked or certain obligations that have to be met, and you have to do this shit. You know what I mean? Like you have to go out here and perform. You have to do, like, we got to start showing a little graces to these people because they travel across the earth with this shit. You know what I mean? And for people to think that music isn't important, music wouldn't exist if it wasn't important. It's just certain frequencies and energies that we're dealing with, certain people who are delivering those frequencies and energies that control a certain emotion in you. So when you hear these songs, when you hear these people make these creations, you got to know that this is important to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And people who put millions and millions and possibly billions of dollars behind it, that has to mean something. You know what I'm saying? It has to mean something. We can't just continue to sit here and act like Childish Gambino having a stroke is a normal thing, or that artists being worked to the bone is a normal thing. We got to start to notice that, and this goes into life as well. You know what I'm saying? Don't overwork yourself to the point where you feel like you're not gonna be able to function. Like that's not success. Success is knowing that you can wake up and you ain't really got to do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't really got to do too much of nothing. Success comes from you knowing that you don't have to wake up and work. You know what I'm saying? You just choose to wake up and work. Once you have to wake up to work, that's not success. You know what I'm saying? You're still in the process of becoming that, but you don't want to get stuck in that hamster wheel. So shout out to Childish Gambino for not only letting us know that he had a stroke, but letting us know that sometimes you can overwork yourself to the point where you feel like you're not even in a position to have a health scare until it happens. So you got to start catching shit early too. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him for that, for being open, because you ain't got to tell us about that shit. You know what I mean? But this kind of goes into what I said previously in my last live about T-Pain in the industry, people being fake. Who's to say, what was going on behind the scenes for Childish Gambino to even have this type of, attitude towards Drake, grouping him with R. Kelly and Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he low-key dissed Drake too. So there's a lot of history that we probably don't even know, that we're not privy to with these two. And just how Childish Gambino is looking at it, not, Donald Glover, whichever you want to call him, that he's privy to. Like, damn, man, y'all gonna continue to let this shit go on? You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't cool. Like, fuck it, I'm gonna put myself out here and start. I'm gonna make a joke about this nigga because who's to say that Drake didn't make a joke about this shit too? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, man. Like, for the word lawsuit and Drake to continue to come up in these certain instances, it's like, Drake, you already done lost a lawsuit already, bro. You don't need to go and lose another one. At this point, it's damaging your brand. I don't care how much cash you got, you know, how much money you have, how many assets you have. It gets to the point where you got to realize, bro, that this shit is not the way to go. You gotta kind of eat this shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? You gotta kind of eat this up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just continue to walk around here and think that you can feel like you indestructible, because you obviously can get touched. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't something that is normal. You know what I'm saying? In society, let alone in people, you're showing a side that shouldn't even be exposed. You know, and for Childish Gambino to be selling council cards, is it a little clout chasing? Maybe. A little clickbaity? Maybe. But more so than anything, it's probably warranted. You know what I'm saying? Now people are going to say, "Oh yeah, fuck him. This is deserved. Look what he's done. Look what he's caused to the game." At one point in time, Drake's lawsuit stopped certain tracks from coming out, or forced people to move from one label to the next, buy themselves out of contracts so they can go over here and release the music. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, bro. People just rapping at this point. So if you mad at people just rapping, I can only imagine the other shit you get mad at, let alone dealing with a fucking female or something like that, and not being able to take criticism from that. You know, where is your OGs? Like, where are people that can show you it's a different way to handle this shit, because it's not looking good. You know what I'm saying? And you created this situation for Childish Gambino to put you and group you with Diddy and R. Kelly because of how you responding to certain shit and certain things that have happened over time, to be like, damn, he might not be too far off with this shit. You know what I'm saying? So we got to take all that into account, you know? And I don't want to agree with a lot of the shit that has happened. But it's happened, though. And we can only go off of what has happened. We can only go off of history. You know what I'm saying? We can only go off of what we see or how you respond to things that people say about you. You put content creators in a lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? What type of shit is that? You know, people don't, like, come on, bro. You stopping your cash. Like, now every time something happens with you, we automatically going to be on the negative side with it. Not to say that we wanted to, but shit, you put us in a lawsuit, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And that's that fake shit I feel like T-Pain was talking about. This is why Childish Gambino is making a joke and a mockery out of it. You know what I'm saying? And this is why people are accepting it. This is why people are buying into it. Because of how you're responding to certain shit. And I just hope that you don't create another lawsuit situation to where you can lose it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't the way to go. This is not how it's supposed to be handled. I don't know what your team is doing. I don't know the type of people that you got around you, but they got to feel just as entitled with you in a negative way. And how you feel about your name is how they feel. Like, they're just agreeing with you because you probably the breadwinner. You the guy that makes the moves. You the guy that determines whether this is going to be successful or not, because it's you. It's your name. Just making it too easy for criticism to be accepted. You know what I'm saying? You're making it way too easy. And when we talk about the industry, when we talk about how certain people can tarnish their image, that's what's going on. And people are going to continue to make jokes about it because you're continuing to respond to it. Making it easy for people to say these things and for people to accept it. People don't want to accept it, but we can only go off of what we see and how you respond to certain shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, just stop responding to shit, bro. Just go quiet. Stop leaking songs. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Eventually, you got to get to a point where it's like, all right, not that you give up, but you damn near should. You know what I'm saying? Show some humility. You know what I mean? Show some humility, bro. Same way that Meek Mill played back to back in the car and he was bumping his head like, okay, I can see why people like this. You probably should have did that, but not like us. You should have did a live, some type of video showing that you listen to Not Like Us. And you like, okay, I can see how this is about. You know what I mean? Because you literally said that in the song on the Hard Part 6. Like, okay, I can see how people like this song. That probably would have neutralized a lot of the shit there. A lot of the criticism about how you responded to the song right then and there. Just you, people seeing you listening to the song would have killed half of what the fuck is going on right now. But since you didn't do that, people are going to continue to believe what they believe. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, that's all I really got for this, you know. But I do want people to know this is a life lesson. Don't make yourself so easy. Don't make yourself an easy target. You know what I'm saying? Don't make it to where if somebody says something bad about you, people just so easily be able to believe it because of how you respond to it or what they've seen or what they've heard, that other people are kind of confirming has either been around you or dealt with you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean Childish Gambino is perfect, or you know, that Donald Glover didn't do no dirty shit or whatever. But I'm pretty sure he's either apologized about it in the background, you know, kind of mended relationships, you know what I'm saying? For people kind of not to expose him, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a natural flow of, okay, if you really mean what you're saying, then we good now. And I ain't gonna bring that up. But it doesn't seem like Drake is good with anybody and nobody's on his side, you know what I'm saying, other than certain people, just because of his name. And your fans ain't making it no better neither. They looking crazy, you know what I'm saying? They looking like, it's them looking like a cult. So that's all I got for this, man. But y'all got anything opposing to say, or if y'all feel like I'm saying some bullshit, man, put it in the comments. You know, shout out to everybody who continue to watch the channel, man. And I'm out. Peace.